What's going on, boys? Thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free for behind the scenes stuff. Arm yourselves, life stuff. As I've mentioned a few times over the last few years, I'm in a very political area. Everyone is extreme and typical in their worst fashions. Now, the reason I'm able to blend in usually is we're thinking about things, or our primary focus comes down to people who fuck you over and face no consequences, and people who get fucked over and face consequences anyway somehow. And when you're operating from that realm of concern, it's not that hard to blend in as long as you aren't pushed. And we regularly shit on conservatives on this channel, mainly because of the 2016 Shanghai. We could have been something different and better, and we weren't. And now you're back to doing typical conservative bullshit while acting like you are something different, and you're not. You continue to take power out of people's hands and restrict self-determination while acting like you're winning something. Your opportunities get narrower and you cheer. And there's even less accountability now with precedents set that will never get any better and people are happy about it. That's why I shit on conservatives so frequently. You ruined an opportunity and you're happy about it. Now, the reason we don't shit on liberals very often is because they've always been what you are right now. And this is a little side tangent here, but have you noticed the way no matter which group gets into power on any level, you end up with the worst aspects of both of the parties or arguments? You think when you're voting or engaging with politics, you'll get X at the cost of Y, there have to be compromises, but at least it's not Z. But then you end up with Y and Z and no X. And people will continue to act happy about that, like they won something. That's mainly what I'm talking about. You lose no matter what you do, as long as you continue to engage with this system. You lose if you choose not to engage with the system. At some point, either you need to do something or you need to make peace with permanent loss. And preferably stop cheering when you get punched in the face. Anyway, liberals stink, and I've been saturated with them to the point, inundated with them to the point, now it bears saying something. Restating a long-standing obvious. With some extras, though. Liberals are insufferable because they are American psycho yuppies. They dress smart, they are obsessed, ironically, with wealth flexing, and most conversations with most liberals sound like poetry recitals. They are verbose in an ill-advised fashion because they talk in circles for hours and they use lingo the way a tech startup does, or the way it's funny, entrepreneurs, the slimy ones and the young, stupid, naive ones, both use the same methods, at least when they're speaking. The slimy ones because they know how to, or which words to use, how to frame things, to sell people things. The young, stupid, naive ones because they've only been sold things. So they use extreme lingo and double talk. Let's imagine a liberal is buying a car, a supercar or something very expensive, designed by a woman. And that's how they rationalize this purchase in their heads. They aren't indulging in wealth. They are supporting a young entrepreneur or supporting women in STEM or some shit. It's not an it's not an overpriced pussy wagon. It's an empowering transport innovation. They aren't buying avocados produced by slave labor. They're buying authentic veg grown and harvested by dedicated local agricultural specialists. And they'll do this for hours, by the way. What you just heard was my example. The another issue with liberals is they aren't creative in the slightest. This isn't quality disco posting a la Colin Quinn. They use the same phrases and words. And it's almost like they go in a circle because by the end of one of these conversations, all of them will have used the same words and phrases. And they like vacuous emotional displays. I would say they work themselves into crying for no reason, but that assumes they're capable of an emotion they would need to work themselves up to. With them, it's all display. They can almost cry the same way you might blink or wink. And you know it's false because, as an FE type, there is no emotional tone coming from this person. And dipping into typology for a moment, this is one of the things I like about having FE. You can feel when a person is feeling a true emotion. You might not agree with the emotion they're feeling, you might not understand the chain of events that led them to have this emotion, but when they're having that emotion and it's true, you can feel it. On the flip side, when one of these things is pretending to emote, they are empty. You get no emotional tone from them. And this is another curiosity, this is a bit of a larger tangent. I've mentioned a number of times the way in nonprofits you expect to find FE types, and all you get are TE types, especially high TE types. There are not many feelers in nonprofits, and there are almost no TI thinkers in nonprofits. It's mostly high TE types. So I'm wondering if the decent liberals or cool liberals, and those do exist, they're very rare, I'm wondering if those are primarily FE or TI types or the feelers. Because it seems like the liberal establishment is owned and operated by TE types. Or if there are TE feelers in there, they are TE preferring feelers, and where the FE types are, they're subjugated. And I say this because when one of them gets emoji, fake emoji, they all, it's like they're reading from scripts. And we've been talking about social scripts for 7 or 8 years now. But I bring it up again here because it's so defined. It's like a machine. One of them fake sniffles and cries. The rest put on faces like that white woman from the double cheeked up video. Oh, and you know the a black woman is speaking, listen, or something like that meme? Notes were being taken, okay, as this meeting was progressing. Whenever the black woman would speak, all at once, everyone would start taking notes. It was a punchline that it was a punchline to a joke nobody but me seemed to be in on. And this doesn't reflect poorly on black women as a group. Maybe it is the whiteness in me emerging. I'm beginning to like the cute black girl voice. I think these empowerment black women are a minority who are the character Django from Django Unchained was pretending to be to get into Candyland. Liberals are physically ugly. Now, you might think about these young, pretty liberal women who are the face of these movements. The ones, I think it was a TikTok trend, I never encountered it on YouTube, but the ones with the black power fists on one cheek and the ace of spades on the other. But liberals are a great example of the way soul shines through. They exist as a living form of the uncanny. And I don't remember which video it was, but I heard someone define the uncanny in a great way. It might have been Acolytes of Horror. Minimal strays sent his way, but the definition is something familiar becoming unfamiliar. Liberals are ugly because their faces are, they're humans, supposedly. You're supposed to look at them like humans, but they can't have human expressions. Liberals induce the uncanny valley because they only have two expressions. Well, maybe three. Their first expression is Tom Cruise face. And I don't remember where I heard this for the first time, but the unrelenting friendliness with nothing behind the eyes. It's like they're wearing a mask, and it's because they are. Then you have their second expression, which is Wicked Witch of the West, and this applies to male liberals as well. Their faces are distorted. The lines in their faces, I don't know how they managed to do it, but they're so deep and warped. And in their eyes is nothing but hatred. It's murder eyes. It's Manson lamps. They want to kill you. Or actually, not even kill you, because that would be liberating you from their presence. They want to dominate you. And that's hot only when they are able to pull it off. And most of the time they aren't, at least individually. That's why they group up and have these back-patting sessions. They aren't accomplishing anything with these meetings or gatherings. They are performing cohesion rituals so they can mob people. Because individually, these are very weak people. They are definitionally right-hand path. And this is another thing I thought about, actually, in relation to that right-hand path shit. Much of what was discussed today was balance in so many different realms, and then good triumphing over evil, which is something I despise so much. This good and evil bullshit. They're a perfect example of why. It's a control mechanism. And ironically, they put it better than I could have put it. There are tons of ways to articulate this, and we're working on finding all of them. Why is good and evil bullshit, especially for people who are most concerned with good and evil? Because they're talking about balance this entire time. These binaries, or these dichotomies, and how important balance is in all of them. Why is good and evil the only binary you are not supposed to have balanced? It's like the Patrick thing. Balance is good. Yes. Most things can be balanced or should be balanced. Yes. There are many binaries. Yes. Good and evil is a binary. Yes. You should try to have balance in good and evil. No. And I'm not advocating for a balance between good and evil because it's retarded. It's a control mechanism, and they put it accidentally better than I ever could have. And they're all about force. Even on the smallest levels, they need to force people to do things, or at least to try to. And then when they get any degree of pushback, when trying to force things on people in these small stages, they get the mob together and sick them on them because they have been victimized by being resisted. Oh, and if you're keeping track at home, everything I have said in this video applies to conservatives. You'll change the specifics, but the broad strokes will be the same. The words and phrases will be different. The message is the same. They are rotten, forceful, weak people. Always with the persecution complexes. And we're going back to trashing liberals here, but keep what I just said in mind. What kills me most is the emptiness of these people. When you're interacting with one, you do not get the sense this is a person. They are a memes vessel. They are an insect that has been loaded up with a limited set of code. See, it's not just you're not recognizing this person as a person, they don't recognize you as a person either. You are a bit of stimuli that is to be interpreted by their limited code. That's it. They see you, they categorize you, and they respond as they have been coded to respond. Maybe humans have always been insects. If they haven't, then we are living through the insectification of the human race. They are antithetical to the human soul. And that's the thing in all this, right? I'm wondering if these divisions exist to train better insects. Politics is the stress test, the simulated stress test for the insect paradigm. Now, let's get into authenticity and, to an extent, coolness. Liberals are on the back foot because they are inauthentic and lame. Conservatives are beginning to get on the back foot because they're no longer able to pretend they aren't inauthentic and lame. And the thing about coolness and lameness, I think, is it's not just a matter of being lame or being uncool. If you suck, if you stink, if you don't got that shit on, it's not just a failure in one area. It means you are, or you have gone back into acceptability. Or rather, I shouldn't say into acceptability, I should say you are subject to acceptability. Because you can be lame by being acceptable, you can also be lame by falling beneath acceptability. What makes a person cool? They are able to go outside acceptability and withstand the harsh flaying winds. And I've been thinking a lot about this. How are you able to do that? It's authenticity. But it's not, something I have never understood, but I'm starting to understand. This hunt for authenticity. Or this fight for authenticity. I'm beginning to think authenticity is something you have or you don't. And if you have it, you don't think about it. And if you don't have it, then it's all you think about. Additionally, if you do have it, you'll find yourself outside acceptability most of the time. And that's a pain because people act like authenticity is this peak achievement, and it isn't. It's a state, it's a base state, and when you're in it, it doesn't feel good most of the time. Because you're fighting with acceptability. People who choose to be in acceptability, people who want to be outside acceptability where you are, but can't because they suck. Their souls stink. Meaning, authenticity is a cost, and you don't have a lot of choice in it. But I'm thinking authenticity puts you upstream, not downstream. And you'll be attacked for being upstream the way 4chan gets attacked constantly, or was attacked constantly. I know it's still alive, I guess, but you should never go back there. When you're upstream, you get attacked, but you sow seeds of trends people might follow later. Or probably will follow later depending on your clout level. Like 4chan. So I'm beginning to think it's not a bad thing as long as you're aware of the position you hold in the world and learn to start capitalizing on it. Those harsh flaying winds outside acceptability. When a naturally inauthentic person or a naturally submissive to acceptability person tries to be, quotes, authentic, even though acceptability is what's authentic to them, they just walk out into the flaying winds and get ripped apart. If you're supposed to be out there, you'll automatically have a shield that, even if you aren't good at using it, you have an idea of how to use it because you've been using it your entire life. Meaning, just by existing in this state, you have something people want. And I think it's mostly a matter of using that demand to figure out how to make your life better. Either by selling shit that won't be adopted a lot immediately but will be adopted by some, or by setting into motion changes in the world that might not get taken up immediately, or causes that might not get taken up immediately, but probably will get taken up by somebody. Somebody who wants to be where and what you are. Even more so if you can make this base state of yours better. And I bring this up because they're always or liberals and conservatives too, are always talking about authenticity, trying to achieve authenticity, or about how authentic they are. They suck because they're drones. When they try to be transgressive, they don't know how to do it. Their idea of transgressiveness or trying to be authentic is always to do some goofy shit that falls outside acceptability but has no direction. My point in all this is these people are defined by their soullessness. They are defined by the way they are grown as insects to carry commands. They are defined by their inability to be anything but insects, but to want to be other than insects, not because they actually want to be anything other than insects. That's another key thing to understand. They want authenticity because they can't have it. If they got it, they'd hate it, and they'd hate it because they hate you if you do have this. It's like a trait in RimWorld. If you have that trait, they hate you. But, given time, they will begin to emulate you. And I think that's something we need to learn to take advantage of. Because society, there's this huge blob of acceptability, but then at the top, they have a few prized freaks. But they don't call those freaks, they call them authentic. They call them innovators, they call them saviors, they call them all kinds of stupid shit. And then at the bottom, you have lots of those exact sorts of people who, through a combination of their own inability to figure anything out and misfortune, are not on top. We need to figure out how to be on top. I am tired of being expected to look at these soulless insects as if they are people. Mostly, I'm sick of being subject to them. And I'm guessing you, whether warranted or unwarranted, feel the same way, and we need to do something about it. I'll be thinking about this, I hope you'll be thinking about this, and maybe we can come up with something. I'm tired of being subject to people who want me and hate me at the same time, and they want me so bad. And they hate me so bad, too. I walked out of that cocksucker meeting, and I had a great excuse, but everybody knew the deal. And they were so mad that I was leaving, so mad that the milfed up, probably ENTJ, wanted to talk to me personally. It's a pain, a true pain, being this sexy and authentic in a world like this. You see, these are the troubles of an emperor deposed in a former life, reborn to take his throne once more. Like if you enjoy. I smell like oil. That's the fucked up thing. They weren't angry for any of those reasons. They were angry because I fucking smelled like oil that entire time, and then I walked out. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.